Welcome to the Mucked Up My Self-Care podcast.
I'm Jill from New York.
And I'm Linda from Tasmania.
We are two moms from opposite sides of the world who are living, demonstrating, and helping moms across the world build their self-care asset bank.
Ready to dive in? Messy, interrupted, imperfect, and most of all mucked up. Let's get going.
Hello.
Good morning. We're here.
We showed up.
We did. We're feeling a bit overwhelmed and split, and school holidays and bedtimes, and we just talked about this via another discussion about are we trying to be super mamas and all that sort of revisiting old episodes. It's very true. So let's see how we go with interruptions in this conversation. All right. Why don't you start with highs and lows?
Highs and lows? Okay. Let's see. I just asked for help. Say that's my high.
Yay! Throw a party. Here are the balloons.
A lot of help was offered, and I don't know if I asked it appropriately, but I did ask for help. After declining a lot of it. I have not had the chance to eat yet, and it's evening here while we're recording, so I wasn't going to. Then I decided, well, what do I have that I can make that's quick and easy? But I did not choose something that's quick and easy. I just chose something that someone else can prepare easily while we are here recording. That would be ready by the time that I get out recording. So
very nice. Very
I'm
nice.
like, okay, step one, we'll try it.
Okay, good luck.
Saying yes after already saying no, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's progress. It's growth. Yeah. It's self-care.
Oh my gosh. And then, let's see. My low is just how drained I feel today from all the things that have happened. And, Thursdays are my long day, starting at like work at 6 a.m. and then with just in different blocks going pretty much till 8 p.m. or later. So it's a long day.
It's a long day. Yep.
Some days aren't as bad bandwidth wise, but then today was a huge bandwidth suck. So it's frustrating when my husband doesn't understand that the mental drain can largely impact and cause a physical drain. Because he's a very physical person, and his mental drain doesn't do that to him because he feels it in a different way, I guess. I don't really know, but it's the sympathy is hard to get when he doesn't understand it. So
yeah, a little bit. Well, I also have another question. Are his days maybe a little bit more consistent? I feel like our days fluctuate as entrepreneurs and work at home mums. Some days are really big, other days might be a little bit less. And I know for me, it can be hard to express that and have that remembered in a way that's not heavy for somebody else. And then sometimes a heavy day turns into a light day or vice versa. There's a lot of unpredictables that we can't always, especially in parenting too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that inconsistency can be hard to.
His job might be a little bit more consistent being it's manual labor, and it's like, it's manual labor. There's really no light days unless it's, well, we're going to say that. He doesn't have too many light days where it would be, unless it's a rainy day, then he's still doing work. So they don't really take off.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Anyway.
As I yawn, oh my gosh. What about your highs and lows, Linda?
For me, it is. Well, I'm going to start with the high first. I have got a bit ticked off, a very long stuff runway to do over the last few days, even with constant interruptions and splitting attention this way and that, and many other things that are happening in school holidays. There's a lot. So that's been good to have some of those really important things achievable. The low for me is a bit like you, just some of that misunderstanding of how I might approach something in a different way, or how I would need extra support in a certain situation. And so that's been very frustrating and irritating for me to try and express that in a calmer way than I would like sometimes. Express that in a way that's not calm or the best version of me, because I feel like I can't explain it properly in that state. So frustrating. Yeah. Anyway, you've got school holidays coming up next week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I've got another week left. Which brings us nicely to our topic today, which we chose ages ago now, but it's come up at a very appropriate time. I'm actually going to be talking about split self-care, and when our attention is in several places at once. Where do we start?
Oh, I thought I was good at multitasking until I realized that I think it's going to be along the lines of my entrepreneur. Got to be all. I thought I was good at it. I'm not. There are so many messy things that happen when I try to multitask. So many things that I miss. And primarily I do it while I'm working. Yes, I can do it pretty much at any point, can't we? What I think is so funny is that a lot of our conversations have been around sharing our self-care with others. And I keep bringing up that I involve Declan in my self-care, that a lot of the things that we do, I consider self-care. And I wonder, now that we're going to be talking about this, because we might need to unpack this, like, am I getting the full effects of self-care, or is it technically then split self-care if I am doing something with my son trying to have self-care? Like, is my attention on him
and compromised,
filling myself with that need?
Yep. As she sits here with two little people on her desk and one little one who's pulling the microphone all over the place. Yep. Classic example.
Yes.
Wave hi. You want to do?
No.
Okay. Excellent. No, she's got Alex and Quinn here. Oh, goodness. It is a great question, because is it just something we've had to adapt to in this phase where they're little and needing us? Is it compromising our own self-care and our own needs? Or is it somehow just finding a way to also make it work? Do we say, okay, well, if I'm not going to have compromised split self-care, I'm not going to have any at all, because that's the other trap. I think we've both got to a point where we're like, okay, we'll find a way to make this work. And I don't know if I could have done that a few years ago as easily. Yeah. I would have just thought, oh, well, too hard. Yeah, don't worry about it. I guess I'll try and find that at 12 p.m. tonight or something like that. So that's, I guess, my first thoughts on some of that. Do you feel compromised when doing self-care with Declan?
I do and I don't. I wonder if I think about this. I think the most compromising is the length, because I end up getting fed up of not getting what I had hoped for out of the time that we were together sometimes. So I don't think it's all of the time, because if I'm being cautious of how I'm thinking about how what I'm receiving out of that self-care time, then I can appreciate what has already happened and go with the flow. More as if I am really super empty and really needing a fill, I might get more crankier that things are not getting to levels where I'd be okay with the flexibility that needs to happen for whatever he's involved in. So I'm sure there's probably like a 50-50 line right there. Feeling
there is. Yeah. And I think that depends sometimes on our bandwidth. Like I actually feel okay about having two people on my desk right now. But yesterday when I was trying to finish off some really things that were taking a very long time, which shouldn't have taken, in my mind, couldn't, shouldn't, haven't, generally wouldn't take me that long.
Yeah.
That was feeling very compromised. The interruptions were a lot. As I have a Lego car racing across my desk. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is classic. Oh, everybody's talking. Hey, you're going to be on a podcast already when you're only one.
I love it.
Oh,
I really think
like
that the ebbs and flows of how we handle the it's almost subconscious pressure from having our littles around us while we are trying to work and meet a deadline or something is the whole reason why we've become entrepreneurs, is to be able to have that flexibility of maybe one day we just can't do the same work that we've done the day before, or we could possibly do the next day. So giving ourselves that flexibility and then that grace that comes with being okay with it makes me feel like we don't need to split our attention to tons of things at the same time. Like if our heads are going to be there, do we just admit to ourselves that, hey, look, I can't get work done because of everything else that my mind is focusing on, and probably now is a good time to just stop and come back to it when these distractions or things have passed.
I mean, that's an important point, and maybe easier to make right now when we're not in the situation. If you're feeling really split and overwhelmed and almost done, it can be hard to then say, you know what, actually taking a break would be very great right now, because often we're trying to focus on what we wanted in the first place so hard that fundamentally it doesn't really translate as easly as just making that decision in that moment. Yeah.
I feel that it's harder to make that decision to walk away from something because of it when we are out of bandwidth, completely like in a melty spot, versus when we still have a good amount of bandwidth left. It may not be a full bandwidth, but at least more than on E. I find it for myself easier to go with the flow that's around me instead of with what I'm feeling is necessary to be done. So I don't really know if it is possible to successfully multitask. And I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. it's right now I'm trying to help Alex work out the laundry, which is his job for today. I have Quinn doing a Lego car that needs to get past my arm because the arm is the tunnel. I have Sigrid unpacking food on the floor right now, as well as trying to listen to you and talk to you. How effective is this conversation? I still think that it is beneficial and effective in a capacity.
I mean,
in a way.
It's living proof.
I would feel a disservice to myself if I didn't turn up for you right now, if I didn't show up. If I said, oh, well, it doesn't matter, it's too hard because there's 3 children who need me, 4 children who need me right now, there would be no self-care. If that was my answer each time where I said, well, okay, my attention's going to be split, so I'm going to stop one thing and do another. It would be a very different life. Maybe it might be a bit calmer. Maybe my nervous system might be more...
Yeah,
I don't know. I really don't know. But I still think it would be a very different life. Just different. Not necessarily good or bad or better or worse. Just really different. And right now, hard to imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd be compromising and missing out on a lot. Jump over there. Okay. Watch that. There's a Lego car on my head. Almost.
That's mine.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to just pipe in for one sec while I take that at the same time.
It's, oh my gosh, I love this. And Linda has now a laundry basket on top of her head because, like we said, that's the responsibilities for today. Goodness. How I put a question in our notes that kind of almost feels fitting right now after what you had just said too, Linda. But when we do split ourselves between several places, how does that reflect back on our priorities and what we're saying our priorities are? Is that a good example of being living proof then?
Yeah.
That was one of the whole points of this podcast, was to be able to be interrupted by our children. Because
leave it real unedited, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not doing heavy editing like I normally would. And I'm still there, but I'm better with that now. It's also like, how efficient can we also be realistically? Because sometimes I think I can still get the same amount done, even though I know that I've logically got 4 children.
Yeah.
One tapping you on the back for a moment. I'm just going to finish what I'm going to say, and then I'll be right with you. You're next. Thank you. So, yep. What I've lost. See, lost what I was thinking.
This is not a moment.
Yeah. No. Okay, so recently I came across another podcast which I'm doing for a client, and there was someone talking about a professor, she was in neuroscience, an American neuroscience, called Dr. Marion Diamond, and she studied basically multitasking and its effect on our brain. And in short, I haven't looked into all of her research exactly, but I believe she said that multitasking is more damaging for our brain health and our lifespan and our general mental health and all sorts of things like that. So I found that quite interesting, and I need to look into it further. But my thoughts are, why do women have a longer lifespan than men?
We are better
in general. Because she's against multitasking. She's saying that it is quite damaging and detrimental. So it can alter our brain states and all sorts of things like that. So I'm going to have to look in further, and we will talk about this again. I thought it was an interesting thought, because Yeah, I can't see that multitasking or split attention will be eliminated from my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
As hard as I try, the more that
Split, Mum.
split. We're going to do a banana split.
I'm going to do a banana.
He's going to try and split his legs on the ground like a gymnast. The more some in the past and even now, the more that I try to not split my attention, the more frustrated I get.
Mm-hmm.
If I fight it, the more frustrated I get.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to speak to an experience about that while I deal with the laundry still?
Yeah, I even right before we got together for recording, I was trying to get some work done, and the interruptions I was very much not wanting to attend to, and very focused on the thing I was working on. And yeah, I just wanted to get it done. But when it came to efficiency, I wasn't any quicker at getting it done because I was also trying to sway my son to go do something else while I just finish this quickly. It just quickly never came about. So I think that we can set ourselves up for not failure, but set ourselves up for mess, probably, when we aren't giving 100% of our focus onto just one thing. But like you said, as parents, I don't think we'll ever be able to not multitask, but maybe it's just not the best to multitask with certain things, I guess, like weighing out those priorities and, where can you have a solid block of time to do this without the interruptions or without your mind wandering onto what's going on over there.
And that's part of that calendar management.
Yeah.
As setting up our week and exactly. And that does help us a lot as well.
Well, there's a lot of things that have helped us along the way, and we have grown a huge toolbox of things to help us not have such split self-care and be able to really fill our energy buckets back up. Now my interruption is here, but one of the things that we like to do in our house is when things get too crazy and we are having such split attention, to bring things back is to dance it out. Oh yeah. Oh my Lord.
I have a video of it.
What is it?
Nutella.
Well, I have a child covered from head to neck and hands in Nutella. So
Right there.
Wow.
Take it back.
The dog will love that.
and then dance it out because I'm going to lose my cool.
Yep. The dog will love to lick it all off, I'm sure. Oh, wow. What a crazy afternoon. So, yes, that is part of what can work at times if we're in a state of split attention or there's Nutella everywhere and children everywhere. One who's refusing to cooperate with any washing that needs sorting right now. There are so many ways.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
we
Washing wings.
you do.
Let's
Have
just
no
say,
one.
if you're as messy of a mom as we are,
Yep. If your attention is split everywhere.
we get it. If
Yep.
you want to chat with us, please. Our email's in the show notes if you need
Yep,
some suggestions
exactly.
for.
Even if you need to come back to that email 10 times and write one word at a time, we would still love to hear from you. And maybe even if you have half an email to send, we could decipher the rest because we're good at that too. So good luck with your Nutella. Please enjoy some food as soon as you can. I'm going to go and sort out some other washing stuff.
Have fun with your laundry.
Yep. Washing baskets on heads and all. Until next week.
We hope you too can unstuck your mouth.
Good luck.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
It's a rhythm day.